My name is Pavlos Giorgiadis. I'm an ethnobotanist and researcher on food systems innovation, and I'm also an organic olive grower here in Greece. I have been quite occupied with the issue of the crisis and how people are looking back to the land as ways to find solutions out of unemployment and the crisis itself over the last 6-7 years. And this has taken the form of participation and involvement in several projects, entrepreneurial projects, farming projects, social cooperatives and so on. I participated in this gathering as a representative of the GROW Observatory, which is a European movement of growers. It is a project about encouraging citizen science across Europe, encouraging citizens to share soil data, to get informed about their own soil, but at the same time help solve one of the major challenges of satellite science, and that is validating the satellite observations and contribute to better environmental monitoring at local level but also at European level. This particular meeting was unique in the way that it is the first time that a region invites practitioners and experts from different countries of Europe to discuss a new vision. In Greece, in the last years, it has become evident that there has to be a new approach towards agricultural and rural development. However, very rarely we addressed how this is going to happen, in which direction and so on. One problem is the complete lack of data. Many people claim knowledge, but very few have the actual data to confer conclusions and so on. Take, for example, the organic retail. There is no organic retail data since 2010. So it can be, from what we are observing in the market and in discussions in social fora and so on, that the organic agriculture, organic food systems are on the rise here in Greece. But at the same time, there is no evidence or data-backed evidence to support this observation. When this data gap exists, then it is very difficult to advocate for the right policies. It is very difficult to take decisions at the local level, but also at the national level, which correspond to the actual realities. One solution to that is to bring more inclusion, more integration, more participation of the actual stakeholders on the ground. In the last 5-6 years, we have rarely seen a truly participatory process. Usually we see those events where one person speaks and 50, 80 or 100 people listen. We very rarely discuss about a true transition in rural areas, but also in urban food systems by using participatory tools and formats of discussion and co-decision. It was particularly encouraging to see this process happening in this meeting. Surely there is still work to be done and methodologies to be refined, but I think what we have achieved those days here in Karditsa is to actually imagine how a food system for the future of Greece, a post-crisis Greece, could look like, but also to be able to connect it and anchor it with real-life examples of members of this local ecosystem. Surely, if you observe this local ecosystem now, you will observe how awkward it is. There are the first steps, but I believe that these communities need to really be empowered and encouraged to connect the dots, basically. And it is the first time where local authorities, development agencies sit at the same room together with activists, researchers, farmers from many countries of Europe to exchange. Now, why this is important? This is important because today we keep listening in news, in the media, about the separatist tensions of Europe. Europeans rarely sit together and discuss. Now, land and soil and natural resources and agriculture and rural development emerges as a topic that unifies different peoples from different walks of life, different cultures, different backgrounds, because this is a universal and overarching challenge, protecting our environment, protecting our cultural heritage, our rural traditions, cultivating rural skills. It is important for the food security of Europe, but also becomes important for the food sovereignty of Europe. European Union and most of the Western world has made commitments towards climate action, towards the Sustainable Development Goals. If we are to meet those challenges, then we need to look really at the human interaction, like how each one of us is interacting with the land, with the farmer, consumer to consumer, and so on. Take, for example, obesity. It's an epidemic all over Europe. If we want to empower citizens to fight obesity, then these citizens need to know what they eat. And there's no better way to know rather than building supply chains that are short, that are transparent, and that are local. Now again, the people, or let's say the main narrative, the mainstream narrative that has prevailed in the last years as a main argument for an exit of the crisis has been one that was based on how can we go back to the old prosperity. It was based on arguments that are focused mainly to exports, which is fine. A lot of producers actually manage to get access to premium markets. However, this is not the case for the many. So some of the issues that have been discussed here in this gathering was how can we strengthen local food systems that can connect with the public health of local populations. What is the benefits and the savings of investing in this type of healthy supply chains? How does it pay off in terms of climate change adaptation and mitigation? And there has been some very interesting connections emerging over those couple of days, like the importance for urban gardening, the importance of modeling agroecology in a certain real condition. It can be, for example, a village, an island, or an entire region that can really set forward a progressive vision to achieve a transition towards agroecology with all the social, environmental, and of course financial benefits that comes out of quality agriculture and quality production consumption patterns. Maybe this is the right discussion, the right time for this discussion to take place in Greece, which has the deep problem, but also in Europe in general. Nowadays we have unprecedented opportunities to connect with one another. Technologies are opening up more and more. We are experiencing a democratization of making sense of our environment, of actually monitoring our environment. We have new ways of connecting decision makers with the actual practitioners in real time. And this is what actually the GROW Observatory, which I have the opportunity to present in this meeting, is trying to achieve. How can we gather citizens around an overarching cause of making sense of our soils, share this with the scientific community, but also with decision makers. And the hypothesis here is if we can turn this discussion as a unifying concept for Europe. I believe this is very, very important. Otherwise, if we fail to address the lag of rural areas for much longer, then we're going to experience much more discontent, which is going to be reflected in reactivist movements, in the rise of populism. And I'm just hoping that this will not end up at some war at some point. So I'm leaving this gathering very energized, for there is a very, very hard work waiting us. The good thing is that people left this meeting with a new sense of enthusiasm and energy, and a sense of belonging to a big European family that is not only limited by macroeconomics and financial indicators, but digs down to the very, very essence of this family, which is the human connection from citizen to citizen. And I'm looking forward to participate in this dialogue further, and I think the best is yet to come.